They thought he was finished. They thought his story ended in a burst of bullets and fire. But 3 weeks later, broken bar, he stood not in hiding, a broken bar not in fear, but in front of the world, a broken bar beside the most powerful man in Russia, Vladimir Putin. He's a broken bar is the story they never wanted you to hear, a story of survival, loyalty, betrayal, and revenge. The attempted assassination. It was late evening in Moscow. Snow fell gently on the streets, but the air was thick with tension. A black SUV moved quietly through the narrow road near Rubliovka, a place known for housing the elite of Russian power. Inside that SUV sat Colonel Ivan Petrov, a decorated soldier, known for his fierce loyalty to the Russian flag, a broken bar, and his secret missions in Ukraine and Africa. Petrov wasn't a politician. He wasn't a celebrity. But in the shadows of Russia's global ambitions, he was a name that made even the Kremlin whisper. That night, as his convoy slowed at a checkpoint, the unthinkable happened. Explosion SFX. A blinding light ripped through the night sky. The SUV burst into flames. Bodyguards screamed. Within seconds, chaos consumed the road. Russian news channels broke the story. Greater than Colonel Ivan Petrov, presumed dead after a terrorist explosion in Moscow. But what the world didn't know was that Petrov wasn't dead. Somehow, he had survived. The hidden hospital. Hours after the blast, deep inside a military hospital on the outskirts of Moscow, Petrov lay unconscious. His body burned, his lungs filled with smoke. Doctors whispered he won't make it through the night. But he did, and when he opened his eyes 3 days later, he had one question. Greater than who did this? No one answered. The faces around him were cold, phones were taken away, and his name, a broken bar, was quietly erased from official records. Someone, somewhere, wanted Ivan Petrov to disappear. A nation in silence. For 2 weeks, Russian media stayed silent. No statements, no investigations. It was as if the explosion had never happened. Rumors began to spread online. Was it a foreign hit? Was it internal? Had Petrov betrayed someone powerful? Meanwhile, inside the hospital, Petrov began to remember fragments. A phone call, a warning, a friend who suddenly vanished from his security team. Someone close to him had set the trap, and it wasn't the West, a broken bar, it was someone within his own circle. Putin learns the truth. In the Kremlin, intelligence reports landed on Putin's desk. One of them carried a shocking note. Greater than Petrov alive. Suspected internal sabotage. Links to oligarch faction uncovered. For Putin, Petrov was more than a soldier, he was a symbol of loyalty. If someone within the Russian elite had tried to kill him, a broken bar, it meant betrayal at the highest level. Putin's message was short, cold, and direct. Greater than find him. Bring him to me. The return. It had been exactly 21 days since the explosion. The world believed Petrov was gone forever. But on May 9th, a victory day, as Red Square filled with soldiers, tanks, and flags, a single figure appeared on the platform beside Putin. The cameras zoomed in, and the crowd gasped. It was him, Ivan Petrov, his face scarred, his uniform dark and shining, standing tall beside Putin, the man they tried to erase. As the national anthem played, Putin turned slightly toward him and nodded once, a gesture few noticed, but one that spoke volumes. The message was clear. Greater than you failed. He's still here. The message to the world. After the parade, reporters tried to get close. Petrov didn't speak a word. He simply saluted the crowd and walked off the platform. But that night, the Kremlin released a short video clip on state media. Petrov standing in his office, speaking directly to the camera. Greater than they tried to kill me because I stood for truth, because I refused to sell my country's secrets. But Russia stands with those who stand for her, even in the face of death. The clip went viral. It wasn't just a message of survival, it was a declaration of power. The hidden war within. Behind the celebration, a silent war began, not between Russia and the West, but inside Russia itself. The failed assassination revealed cracks within Putin's circle, rival oligarchs, intelligence officers, and businessmen fighting for influence. Petrov knew this, and instead of hiding, he returned to the battlefield, not with guns, but with information. He began exposing corruption, names, dates, accounts. Every file he leaked shook another tower of the Russian elite. They had tried to bury him. Now he was the one digging up grave as of the Western reaction. In Washington, London, and Paris, Petrov's reappearance caused shock. Analysts debated endlessly. How did he survive? Was it a staged event? Was Putin sending a message that no attack on his loyal men would go unanswered? Media outlets ran dramatic headlines. Greater than the man who came back from the dead, Putin's Phoenix general, the survivor of Red Square. But none of them knew the full truth, that Petrov's survival wasn't luck, it was strategy. The secret alliance. According to leaked intelligence, after the explosion, Petrov had been moved not to a civilian hospital but to a hidden military base near Kaluga. There, top Kremlin doctors worked under direct orders from Putin. It was part of a plan not only to save Petrov but to expose the traitors behind the attack. For 3 weeks, Putin's security apparatus tracked communications, money transfers, and secret meetings. By the time Petrov appeared on Red Square, the Kremlin already knew who had betrayed him. And within days, arrests began quietly across Moscow. The unspoken threat. Petrov's survival became a warning not just to enemies abroad, but to those inside the Kremlin walls. Greater than loyalty is rewarded, betrayal is punished. That was the unspoken law, and everyone knew it. From then on, Petrov became a living symbol, a soldier who rose from death, a reminder of Russia's resilience. He no longer commanded troops, he commanded fear. As new mission. Months later, Petrov was seen again, not in Moscow, but in Mali and Burkina Faso, meeting African leaders aligned with Russia's growing influence. Wherever he went, rumors followed that he was building alliances, training forces, spreading Russia's power far beyond Europe. Western media called him Putin's ghost, but to many, especially across Africa and Asia, he became a hero, a man who refused to bow down to death or dominance. The mystery deepens. Even now, no one knows exactly what happened that night of the explosion. Some say Petrov was born minutes before and escaped. Others claim he was badly injured and revived through secret medical tech. But one thing is certain, someone wanted him gone, and they failed. The Red Square symbolism. Standing beside Putin on Red Square wasn't just a photo op, it was symbolism. Victory Day isn't about soldiers or tanks, it's about survival, defiance, and power. By placing Petrov beside him, Putin told the world, greater than you can attack us, you can try to destroy us, but we will rise stronger than before. That single image, two men standing under the Kremlin's shadow, became the most powerful political statement of the year. Global reaction. In the following days, Petrov's image flooded social media. Thousands called him a patriot. Others accused him of being part of a propaganda stunt. But for ordinary Russians, he was proof that loyalty and courage still meant something, even in an age of lies and deception. Final monologue. Camera slowly zooms in on Petrov standing at dawn, overlooking Red Square. Petrov, voice soft but firm. They thought they could silence me with fear. But fear is what wakes the sleeping lion. I am alive, not because I escaped death, a broken bar, but because I faced it. He looks directly into the camera. Greater than and to those who tried to kill me, broken bar, I forgive nothing. Music rises, a slow, haunting orchestral theme. Narrator. In the heart of Russia's power, on the blood-red bricks of history, a man who should have been dead stands alive, a symbol of the country's most sacred weapon. Unbreakable will. They tried to kill him. They erased his name. They buried his story. But 3 weeks later, broken bar, he stood on Red Square beside Putin and showed the world that some men can't be killed. Fade out. A Russian anthem plays softly. Screen turns black with title, The Man They Failed to Kill.